Welcome back to Chin Music, our baseball show at TalkNorth.com. Best way to listen to this show or any show at TalkNorth.com. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We also want to thank our presenting sponsors, Giggly THC Beverages, that's GIGLI.com, and OnX Hunt, ONX Hunt. We'll tell you more about them in a little bit, as well as our other sponsors. The lineup today, Twins legend Roy Smalley, Star Tribune legend LaVelle Neal III. I am non-legend Jim Souhan, also from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. A lot to get to today. I think Roy is thrilled because we're going to talk about two of his favorite things, hitting and music. So this is going to be a classic Roy episode. And Roy kind of reminds me of the old baseball story. I know it's been told a million times. It probably hasn't been told recently on these. Do you remember the Ted Williams spring training story?
I'm not sure that.
I know, there are probably more than one. I'll just start down the road. I wanted to prompt you in case you wanted to tell it, but I didn't really set you up very well for that. There's the old story about Ted Williams and his coaches, when Ted was the manager, they're meeting and they're trying to decide whether to work on cutoffs or bunts. You want to finish it, Roy?
Yeah. It was classic Teddy Baldwin. They're talking about all that stuff. If it's the one I think you're thinking about,
yes.
You're talking about all the things that they have to do. It's you bunt plays and pickoff plays and rundown plays and throws from the outfield where everybody's going to be on cutoffs and relays. And they're all talking about it. And Ted, more colorfully than I am going to say it, said, "Screw all that. Let's go hit."
That is the story. And that's going to be our attitude today. Screw everything else. We're going to talk hitting. Let's start with this. I'm going to start with Roy, our hitting expert. Sorry, LaVelle. On Clemens. The numbers are astounding. He's basically been their best hitter for a month. He's only been here a month. Is it I mean, he's not going to end up with an OPS of over 1,000. That's not going to happen. But is what he's doing sustainable? Did the Twins really find something, or is he just a nice utility player who's filled in pretty well?
Well, I think at the very least, he's a very nice utility player that's been terrific and is deserving of a ton of credit for, obviously, for the Twins winning games that they've won. Beyond that, I will say I don't really know, but for sure, because he hasn't really done this before. He's kind of bounced around the big leagues a little bit. And I will say, I'm going to preface all this by saying I'm really impressed with the young man because, to have the dad that he has and to bounce around and have some chances in Detroit and different places where, he might have won a starting job and didn't and, has bounced around. And, for him to have that the attitude and the clubhouse presence, we've got young kids like Brooks Lee. I think we're going to talk about Brooks Lee today too. But and like Brooks Lee, mentioning him in the same breath as Carlos Correa and Ty France, and in helping Brooks get stay grounded and keep his mental even keel and all that. I mean, I just think that's that gives you some insight into the kind of young man that he is, that Cody Clemens is. So, good on him for that. What I've seen as a hitter from him, and I was like I say, I don't know if it can be. I don't know if he has this kind of hitting, talent. Everybody does in the big league. That's in the big leagues. Everybody has this kind of talent for a while, for some streak at some point in time. Whether this kind of thing is somewhat sustainable over the course, it remains to be seen. But what he's doing, I've been really, really impressed. And I'm going to, since we opened with Ted Williams, I'm going to invoke, Ted Williams' number one rule of hitting: first, foremost, and everything else is a distant last compared to get a good ball to hit. And that's what Clemens is doing. He's had really good at bats, really good plate appearances time after time where he doesn't offer at the first tough strike that he sees just because it's a strike. He's looking for a pitch that he can drive, and he's taken other pitches And when he's gotten the pitch that he can drive as a result of being patient, then he hasn't missed it. And it's really no more complicated than that. And so you take a guy that's got big league talent to hit, and you say he's only going to swing at pitches that he really, really likes until he gets 2 strikes, and then he's going to square it up. Well, he's going to have the OPS that he has, and so that's what he's doing right now, better than as well or better than anybody else on the club, and so that's what I've seen.
LaVelle, what do you tell us what you know about Clemens and his history and what the Twins actually think they have here?
Oh, me? Yeah. He has a history of just bouncing around a little bit, and he has said this himself, that one reason why he thinks he's gotten into a good streak here is something that, a lot of hitters need, which is opportunity. He's been able to play multiple times a week and see a bunch of pitches and get a lot of at bats. He's been able to find a groove, and he's been able to stay in it instead of being played sporadically or once or twice a week. He was added onto a team that needed they needed bodies. The opportunity was here for him to get some bats, and he's gotten those at bats, and he has taken off because of it. He seems to be an okay defensive player. I know everybody's talking about the game in Baltimore where he threw up Ryan Mountcastle trying to advance from second to third. But he created that opportunity by misplaying a ball off the wall. but he's got a strong arm. They can move him around a little bit. And it was an emergency situation in which they needed him. The thing that jumps out to me about him is the exit velocity he shows at the plate. When he squares a ball up, it takes off. It flies. There's pop there. There's thunder in his bat, man. So, I mean, I thought he was going to come up and be the 26th man for a week or two and then move on. But he's closing in on being here for a month. And some people think he was the most valuable player of their 13-game winning streak with those big hits and the home runs in Boston in front of his old man. So, and he hit another home run with Roger in the audience the other day. So, I didn't even know Cody Clemens was still in baseball when the Twins made the move to add him, to be honest with you. So I had to do a quick search and look up his background. I think he spent some time with the Phillies and a couple other organizations. So he just right place, right time for him. And, as Roy pointed out, he's been selective at the plate. He gets a good pitch and he takes a rip at it. And when he connects, the ball flies. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long he's going to last because Matt Wallner looks ready to come off the injured list. Byron Buxton is taking batting practice now. He's getting close. Will there be room for him once everybody's healthy? The thing that can't be denied is that Cody Clemens has made his break, and he's going to make it hard for the Twins not to keep him going forward.
And the thing he said about you have opportunities and getting in a rhythm, all that. It's also true. Hitters always say that because it feels true, and for some of them it is true. Just as often, somebody gets the opportunity and they prove they can't hit big league pitching on a daily basis. I mean, this is the opposite of that. He is performing at a career high level at the age of 29 with a new team. There's nothing that isn't surprising about this. But what I like, Roy, is you've seen him take a pretty routine swing and hit the ball out to center field. You've seen him get big hits. You've seen him take the ball down the third base line on an outside pitch when the third baseman is playing off the line. He plays the game. He's not just out there trying to hit home runs, trying to impress. He's reading situations. That's what I really like about him.
Yeah, I think that it goes back to what I said earlier about getting a good ball to hit, and until you get 2 strikes. And when I watched him before, I saw him play. He started at second base for the Tigers for a while. When I was watching Twins games, and either from at home or from the booth, and during the broadcast, and I wasn't real impressed with any of the things that that we're saying about it. That I didn't see a whole lot of life in his bat. I didn't see a lot of good, necessarily good at bats. But it's clear that he does have big league jump, and it's bad if he squares it up. And he also has been around. He's 29 years old. And he's been around a while, and he knows that if he's going to be successful with 2 strikes, for example, then he's going to hit the ball. He's going to try to hit the ball where it's pitched, and he's not afraid to go, foul line to foul line. So I just think that he has a mature approach right now when he steps in the box, and I'm hoping for his sake and for the Twins' sake, it continues. It looks real solid right now, just because of his ability to say, so much of the time you see Twins hitters and hitters around baseball, they get themselves in trouble, early on in counts. They'll make a quick out. We'll talk about that a little bit with Brooks Lee, but they'll get a fastball on the outside corner, and it's just a first ball pitch or 1-0 pitch, and it's a strike, but it's a pitch, more of a pitcher's pitch, and you don't have 2 strikes on you. You're even or head count, and you hit a weak ground ball to short or second because you're anxious to put see the ball, see ball. Everybody talks about see ball, hit ball. That's the best thing. Don't overthink it. Well, yeah, true in some in many scenarios, but you can think about it the right way before you ever step in the box, and that is, I'm going to get a good ball to hit until I have a count where I'm forced to hit pitchers' pitches if I have to, and I'm not going to make an out early and on a pitch that isn't my pitch, and that's what I've seen him do, and then go to 2 strikes and be able to make contact somehow. But you can't do that all the time. You can't go to 2. You just can't hit with 2 strikes all the time. No matter how good a 2-strike hitter you are, unless you're Carew or Tony Gwynn or Luis Ariz, and it's about all I can think of that want to hit, that are okay hitting with 2 strikes all the time. So I just think he has a mature approach at the plate right now.
More to come. We're going to talk about my Joe Mauer sighting, Brooks Lee, Royce Lewis, the most underrated bands in history in our Booze and Blues segment, and an ownership update. First, I want to let you know, we are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott with Aquarius Home Services. Spring was all over the map, shoveling snow one day and enjoying the warm sun the next. But now we all know the real heat is coming.
Are you ready?
Get ahead of it with 50% off an AC tune-up. We'll give your system the VIP treatment, review the details, and answer all your questions. At Aquarius, we aim to wow you with incredible service and earn the right to be recommended. Visit AquariusHomeservices.com today.
I also want to thank presenting sponsor Giggly THC Beverages. Giggly, Gigli, Giggly.com. Promo code is Giggly North to get 50% off your first order. Also, if you get on one of their social feeds or check their website, they have deals all the time that you can get. And I've highlighted a lot of the stuff that my wife and I drink. Let me just tell you about this. They have award-winning taste. It's crafted with real fruit juices. They use ashwagandha extract, ginseng extract. It's gluten-free. It's vegan. It's as healthy as anything you can possibly drink. It tastes like a cocktail or your favorite tea or your favorite seltzer, and ain't nothing in there gonna hurt you. You're gonna wake up feeling good. It might help you sleep. It helps me sleep. It might help you with sore muscles. They don't make that claim, but it has for me. And no hangover. I love the no hangover aspect. I can have something on a weeknight and wake up the next day. They also have chocolate gummies. Just go to Giggly.com, check it out. Order, promo code Giggly North. You won't be sorry. I also want to tell you, or ask you, have you ever driven past a piece of land and wondered who owns that, or maybe you need to know exactly where a property line runs? That's where Onyx Hunt comes in, and it's not just for hunters. There are folks using Onyx for their jobs every day throughout the country, from farmers and ranchers mapping out their fields, wildland firefighters navigating rough terrain, to construction workers needing to know who owns what property. This app offers something for everyone. If you need the best land ownership maps, aerial imagery, and property boundaries in your pocket, Onyx Hunt is the tool for the job. Try it free for 7 days. Download Onyx Hunt in the app or Google Play Store, or visit onyxmaps.com/hunt to get started. All right, by the way, I'm at the ballpark the other day. I run into Joe Mauer, and let me run some impressions by you. First of all, I forgot how big the guy is. I spent a lot of time around NBA players and NFL players. Joe Mauer is a massive human being. He is massive. He's still in great shape. It's great to see him healthy after everything he went through in his playing career. He was in a great mood. He's with his son. He was all smiles. You could tell that you can tell that he's healthy and feeling good about life. It's really good to see that. But yeah, that's what really struck me, guys. I mean, I'm around Anthony Edwards all the time. I'm around Julius Randle. I'm around Rudy Gobert. I'm around, I mean, Joe Mauer he wouldn't just fit into an NFL locker room. He'd be one of the more impressive looking guys in an NFL locker room.
No doubt. I know he was 6'4", 6'5". He would look great as a quarterback, dropping behind, taking handoffs and dropping back and throwing 50-yard bombs. He would be right in the middle of everything as a basketball player. That doesn't surprise me. So good to see that he's out with Chip. I saw Joe in spring training. He was throwing batting practice at Chip, and he had Chip switch hitting. And Chip wasn't too happy hitting right-handed, but and Joe was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'll have him switch over and hit left." As soon as he started hitting left, he started hitting missiles. So the next line of Mauer greatness is starting to be developed here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not predicting stardom yet, but you kind of like the direction where it's headed. Another quick story with him and Cal Ripken. Last year at the Hall of Fame, Chip was out playing in the field by the hotel, and Cal Ripken walks over to Joe and goes, "Is that your kid with the red shirt and the khaki pants?" And Joe goes, "Yeah, how could you tell?" And he says,
"Swing.
I've seen that swing before."
Yep. Thing is, Joe had his swing from the age of like 3. You go back and I've seen photos and videos of Joe swinging like a plastic bat when he was like 3 years old. It was exactly the same swing he always had.
Yeah, it really was. It was beautiful. I mean, it was 3-year-old. It was the prettiest swing you'd ever see on anybody, much less a 3-year-old. That's absolutely true. And I think about Joe's size and how big he is. And I'm going to remind you guys of the play he made in Yankee Stadium. He did not look like a big guy when he went out on that swing and bunt and it turned around to throw to first and then spun around and went back and dived at the plate to get the guy trying to score from third. I know you guys remember that play. And and there's no way that as you watch that play on television, there's no way that you would have ever thought that he was 6'5", 215 or 220, whatever he is.
He's like 230.
That looked like a play from a 5'10" shortstop.
The interesting thing about Joe is he had for a guy that size, he had a relatively slender upper body, but he had the lower half of whatever you want to say, NFL linebacker, whatever. He was, you could tell how much he had worked on his legs. All right, enough about Joe. Let's get back to current events. Let's start with Roy again. LaVelle wanted to hear you break down Brooks Lee's offensive approach and swing. What are you seeing? And, he's had his moments. He is not producing a lot right now. What do you see as far as his future?
Well, for me, and again, this is what I see, not what I know, not anything from a hitting coach or from Brooks or anybody else in the clubhouse. What I see watching on television is kind of what I was alluding to before. I watched him last year make so many outs on a first ball pitch that was the opposite of what Clemens is doing right now, right? And Brooks Lee can hit a fastball. I mean, I don't think anybody questions that he can hit a fastball from either side of the plate. And he's also just fine on off-speed stuff. He's got he has a stance that's a little funny. It's different. He holds his hands not only close to his body, but close to the middle of his body. They don't go back into a real exaggerated deep launch position. He's very quick, and he has the kind of hands and the kind of hands that in swing that will bring the big end of the bat to the ball. That is hard to teach. I just think he's got a lot of natural swing talent, and what it looks to me like is that he catches himself in between. He gets himself in between on pitches. He gets himself out early a lot on pitches that aren't I think in this day and age, with the pitchers that throw the way they do, I think you got to go up there for a first ball pitch hitting like you got the 3-0 hit sign, and you say this ball's going to be right in the middle of the plate, or I'm going to take it. It's right. It's going to be right here in my wheelhouse, or doesn't count. And then if it's 0-1, okay, now go to your protect swing a little bit more. Just seems to me to be in protect swing all the time.
That's exactly what I see.
It looks like he's hitting with 2 strikes when he walks to the plate. And I just wish that he would get super selective and aggressive on whatever pitch he wants to hit from a certain pitcher that he thinks he's going to see once or twice in at bat, and get on that pitch early in the count and get back to it if it gets to 1-0, 2-0, 3-1. Stay on what you want. Give yourself a chance to hit doubles and home runs until you get 2 strikes, and because I think his natural swing is okay, is really plenty good enough with 2 strikes. We've seen him get 2-strike hits, and I like the way he battles with 2 strikes. Okay, you got that. That's maybe one of your strengths. Now go to the aggressive part early in the count and have some fun at the plate.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see, and I've heard that from Twins people too. Is okay, yeah, good, kind of a good approach, but if you're going to be an impact player, you're going to have to hit the ball really hard, and hit the ball hard frequently, and tapping the ball and making contact early in the count is not going to get you there. LaVelle?
Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying. I think there's stuff to work with there, definitely. He hits the ball to all fields. It looks like teams are starting to throw him more off-speed stuff because they've seen him hit a fastball. So he may be in that mode where he's trying to adjust to all that. The one thing that jumps out to me about him is that Rocco is batting him second and third in the order all of a sudden. I know maybe his options are limited in that regard because other guys aren't hitting, but Rocco must see something in Brooks that makes him believe that he can handle that type of responsibility, hitting higher in the batting order. So I think there's something there. I just want to see more. I want to see what he does with more experience, get more comfortable, seeing more pitchers, and then finding out what he can do to pitches on a major league level. So I still encourage. I can see why he was the 7th overall pick in the draft. I want to see him be able to add some more power and maybe drive the ball a little bit more. He doesn't look like a physically imposing fellow, but I think there's back to ball skills there that are going to help him flourish eventually.
There's no question about that. You guys are both talking about you'd like to see him hit the ball harder, and deeper. I guess is what that means. And the only way you can do that is to be aggressive on balls that you want to hit. And so I just like to see him say, take some real, just get the feel for it, swing out of your mind until you get to 2 strikes, and just air it out. Just get ready for a pitch and air it out. But LaVelle brings up an interesting point about where Rocco's hitting him in the lineup. Rocco has a history now. I've watched him and thought about lineups that he's put out there for several years now, and there are times where Rocco has got a lineup that he's looking at, and he'll pick out a certain spot in the lineup and say, "I can't have a strikeout here in a situation. I can't." Luis Ariz used to hit 5th, right? And for Rocco, and the reason, in my mind, was because Rocco knew that if the 3rd and 4th hitter didn't get done, let's say you got the base loaded, nobody out, and the 3rd hitter strikes out and the 4th hitter strikes out or pops up. Rocco couldn't live with not having somebody hitting 5th there with the bases loaded and 2 out that might give him a chance to get drive in a run or 2, but certainly not strike out. And I've seen that from Rocco, and I think Brooks Lee, because of his 2-strike ability and because he has the ability to put bat to ball, I think Rocco is kind of using him in the same way. And said, okay, here are my guys that can really run damage, early up here at the front part of the order, but I got to have somebody around there somewhere. He hit him 4th last night, I got to have somebody in the first 4 hitters, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, let's say, that I know is going to give me a chance. It's not going to be well, we get to this guy, and now, I mean, this has as good a chance to strike out as anybody in League Two. So, and I think that's why Brooks has been in there.
Next week, I want to talk about Royce Lewis, and his struggles are one of the reasons Brooks Lee's batting up that high. For right now, I want to tell you about a couple more sponsors. Then we're going to talk about the ownership situation. Then we're going to go to our Booze and Blues segment. First of all, I do want to thank Clamshell Beach Resorts. Here's Talk North star Michael Russo for Clamshell Beach Resorts.
Hey, have you been dreaming of a lake cabin lifestyle with boating, fishing, and family fun in northern Minnesota? Well, lately I've thought a lot about how cool it would be to have a getaway like so many Minnesotans. And if you're like me, you probably think that owning your own lakeside getaway is beyond your budget. Well, if you think lake cabin real estate prices keep going up, well, think again. This is Russo, and I'm here to tell you there is an affordable way to enjoy a cabin lifestyle and all that goes with it. And yes, I said affordable. I founded a Clamshell Beach Resort, which is located on the Whitefish chain of 14 lakes for you and your family to enjoy. Here's how. Clamshell has lake homes that offer deeded fractional ownership, and the keywords there are deeded and fractional. You own it. Imagine having 5 weeks a year to enjoy Clamshell with its beaches, pool, and lodge that's full of kids' activities. Is golf your game? There's a great golf course right across the road. Like winter sports? Well, you can go ice fishing, cross-country skiing, or snowmobiling right out the door at Clamshell. And there's no maintenance, no grass mowing, no snow removal. It's done all for you. And you can own a share of Clamshell Beach Resort at an affordable price. To learn more about ownership opportunities at Clamshell Beach Resort, go to cottagesonwhitefish.com or contact Pat Egan at 612-220-9819. That's cottagesonwhitefish.com or Pat Egan at 612-220-9819.
I want to thank Minnesota Masonic Charities for all the great work they do in our state.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
And here's Talk North Star John Krasinski for True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. I've been telling you about it for months now. Just a life-changing experience for me to go to True Vision and have LASIK surgery this summer. Everything is easier for me after having LASIK surgery. I don't have the hassles of contacts and eyeglasses. I don't have to worry about going in for annual appointments to get the eyes checked and also to make sure that I have the latest and greatest style of glasses and I'm not looking like some washed up 46-year-old like I am, trying to stay ahead of the trends. I don't have that anymore. I'm just going around free and clear without anything on my face. And that's all thanks to the good folks at True Vision. When you go into True Vision, you will immediately notice how welcoming, how warm, how friendly, and how knowledgeable the staff is there. They get you in, they get you checked out, they find the right vision correction options for you. And then Dr. Chu is just world class in how he helps you through the procedure, how he makes sure that he gets you taken care of, and like he did with me. And I've had zero issues with my vision since I had the surgery in July. And I just keep kicking myself and wishing I would have done it 10 years ago. So go to truevision.com and set up your consultation. Tell them the John Krasinski Show sent you and get on with your life. Make it easier on yourself and just get to the point where you can kick your own self in the butt and say, why didn't I do this a long time ago?
LaVelle, you got an ownership update for us.
Yeah, the update is that it's not dead in the water. Our intrepid beat writers were in the clubhouse recently and we're talking to some players. There was a player who was rehabbing, working out at the ballpark, and that player looked up in the stands and saw the entire Polat family leading someone on a tour. And so our intrepid reporters looked into the situation and, got it confirmed that there are still multiple people interested in this team, that it's more than just kicking the tires. It is about some legitimate interest, and they've had people in town touring the facilities and checking out the city and seeing what it's all about. So, for those of us who think that the Twins are going to end up, the Pohlad family is going to end up holding on to this team, there's a possibility there could be a transaction, before the year is out. So that's a good sign, because we had not heard anything in several weeks. The last thing we heard, the group that was kind of interested in putting in a bid either did not, or the number they floated wasn't received well, and they have been out ever since. But now there's someone else, or maybe more than one someone else. So that's great. And I wrote it twice at the beginning of the year about how it seemed like there was a dark cloud hovering over this franchise. I think the combination of the team playing better, being back in the AL Central race, and now this report about there are people still interested in this club despite baseball's economics and despite the Twins television package uncertainty, that is now more like partly cloudy. So I think this week's development was a good one.
And I've heard the same thing. I talked to somebody I trust who said there's a lot of interest, and you can't guarantee something's going to happen. You can't tell anybody what the timetable is going to be, but there's a lot of confidence that they are going to have somebody buy the team for about what they want. All right, let's get to our Booze and Blues segment. I'm going to throw out a new topic here today. Most underrated bands in history. Roy wanted to get into like Mozart versus Bach. I said, no, we're going to do the electric guitar era. And I will start here, and I hope my pick surprises you at least a little bit. I have a bunch of picks that we will be revealing over the weeks and months ahead, and LaVelle and Roy can pitch it as they like. I'm going to start with Los Lobos.
Oh, wow.
They've been going at it for many decades.
Yeah.
They had one album that was kind of a hit album. They had a couple songs that were, not hits, but somewhat popular. But I'm guaranteeing you, if you flip on Austin City Limits, if you find them on YouTube, if you find an old video of them playing, they're one of those bands. I don't know that they've ever written a bad song. I don't know that they've ever not played brilliantly or been entertaining. Just a great freaking band. Great guitarist, great drummer, great bass player, great sense of melody, great songwriting. They've just been doing it for so long, and they're never going to have that top 40 hit. They're always going to be that band that you go, oh yeah, I should listen to them more. That's my pick for today. Either of you gentlemen can either pitch in on this, or you can save your picks for another week. Roy, what do you think?
I need more time to think about this. You can't drop something like this on me.
Roy takes this too seriously for me to just.
But I will say this. I will say this. Am I wrong? It didn't. Didn't Los Lobos do the version of Hotel California that's in The Big Lebowski?
I think they did, and they also.
I'm pretty
did.
sure it's either. I'm almost positive it was Los Lobos, and for that matter, if that's the case, they are the most underrated band in history.
They also did. I think they were the band that did La Bamba in the movie La Bamba. I think they're the band that played the song La Bamba.
Oh,
right.
Interesting. So, well, I'm gonna save my underrated band for another episode.
Okay, we can do that.
Because I want to talk about booze.
Okay, go right ahead.
Big surprise there. No, one of my favorite watering holes in town, the Lakewood Tavern, which is located in Lake Elmo. They're having another Scotch tasting event, and this one includes cigar smoking as well. So, on June 24th at 6 p.m., they're having an event in which we'll be able to sample 2 La Flor Dominicana cigars. I have smoked those before, pretty solid. If you like robust, heavy flavored cigars, and La Flor Dominicana is up your alley. But what I'm excited about is that we're not going to taste just one, but 2, 3, 4, 6 different Michter's bourbons. Now, I've had some Michter's before, but they're having the one I've had is one that they're going to have on the 24th, but they're also allowing us to sample Michter's Rye, which I never had, Michter's American. They have a toasted bourbon that apparently is relatively new that I'm looking forward to trying. And they also have a barrel strength rye bourbon that I haven't had either. And finally, there's something called Bombers PFG, which I don't know what the heck that is, but I'm looking forward to learning about it on June 24th at the Lakewood Tavern in Lake Elmo, Minnesota. And that is $90 per person. You get to sample up to 6 1-ounce servings of bourbon. So if you're worried about driving home, you can restrict yourself to 2 or 3, but get 2 cigars as well. So it's a great event. They have a great outdoor patio. The restaurant's only been open for about 3 years, and it's doing really, really well. So for those of you who want to taste some bourbon and sample a couple of cigars, check out Lakewood Tavern on June 24th.
All right, number one, my wife has eaten there. She loves it. Number two, you now have the assignment. I think they should become the sponsor for the Booze and Blues segment on this network. And, we'll be easy to work out a deal with. And then they can be a part of this every single week. So that's my thought. I'm going to wrap this up for Roy's benefit. Los Lobos did do the Hotel California. That's the Big Lebowski. Los Lobos started playing together in 1973. They are still together. It's a I'm going to give you the Wikipedia stuff. Mexican-American rock band from East Los Angeles. They combine rock and roll, Tex-Mex, country, folk, blues, traditional Spanish and Mexican music like boleros and norteño. David Hidalgo, lead singer, drummer Louis Perez, they met at Garfield High School in East St. Louis. And they realized that they liked, and Roy, you'll like this, they both had an affinity for obscure musical acts such as Fairport Convention, Randy Newman, and Ry Cooder. Got together, started listening to records. Every great band has a great backstory. That is theirs.
Did you say
that's really cool.
From East St. Louis?
No, East Los Angeles.
East LA, okay.
Yes. So that
Garfield High School. I know where that is.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's on the other side of town from where I grew up. But the more we learn about Los Lobos, I was almost positive that they played. Any band that is that plays the theme song for "Did Jesus" in Big Lebowski, they got to be one of the best bands of all time.
There's no doubt. That's just science. No doubt about it. Thanks to Roy. Thanks to LaVelle. Thanks to everyone for listening. Next week, I want to talk more about whether he's going poorly or well. I want to talk about Royce Lewis and his hitting approach. I got some intel that Rocco's working more with the hitters these days. It'll be interesting to talk about that. And we'll just talk about, is this division really this good? Because right now, it is that good.